Hello everybody, if you're seeing me again, it must mean there's a race weekend just around the corner. And that is true. It's round number 3 of the Toyota Gazoo Racing Geo Cup to be held at Zwartkops Raceway. Racing's a funny thing. The race weekend consumes you. You're so busy beforehand, during, and for a little bit after. And then it seems like forever until you get to drive the race car again. And then all of a sudden, time goes just like that. And it's the next race weekend. But I think before we get into next weekend, let's just review where we are at the moment. We've had 2 rounds so far, Killarney, Red Star. I would call them moderately successful. I'm not unhappy with the results. I'm not unhappy with the fact that we're second in the championship at the moment. And just to review, we got a 3rd and a 2nd at Killarney and 2 seconds at Red Star. In fact, let's take a look at the season's standings so far. So as we can see, Nabil is out front on a perfect score of 28. That's 4 wins from 4 race starts. Incredible consistency and really driving exceptionally well. I'm 9 points behind him with 19. Behind me, Justin Ford and Kumbi, both on 12. But keep an eye on Tay. Tay was very quick at Cape Town and beat me in the first heat. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to turn any competitive laps at Red Star as a result of damage incurred at the first event in Cape Town. But I'm sure he's going to be very quick at Zwartkops. Now, I started the season with a conservative view. I didn't want to make any big mistakes in my first 2 events. Wanted to find my feet, see if I could find a pace. But I didn't want to make the kind of mistake that would cost you a season. I didn't want to have a crash or finish so poorly that we were completely out of the points race. So we've been accumulating them nicely for the first 2 events of the year, but it's time to move on. This is, after all, a short season. There's only 7 events, 14 races. The races themselves are pretty short. So there's not a lot of opportunity to make an impact. And I don't want the gap to the leader to grow any more than it has at the moment. It's time to start trying to compete at the front. And that's so much easier said than done. The goal has been to get to the pace, to find the pace through the weekend and then be competitive when it comes to the races. So I've built up to the ultimate pace. I've taken things conservatively. I've tried not to risk the car. I've tried to just chip away and get better. And it's worked. We're finding reasonable pace and we've got ourselves some reasonable results. But I think it's also holding me back now. I think we need to find that ultimate pace much earlier in the weekend, from session 1. And that's certainly something I'm going to focus on this coming weekend. You see, the problem I'm having is that where I'm qualifying just behind the leaders in the dealer class. Now, there are other cars on the track with us. It's quite a big field. So the dealers are driving Corollas and Yaris's. Those are manual Corollas and some automatic Yaris's. By and large, they have the same pace as our car. They have the same sort of power. They have the same tools at their disposal. And it would be extremely arrogant of me to think I could just step in and be competitive and qualify in front of them. But what I'm finding is Nabil, who's leading the media challenge, and Devon, who's leading the dealer challenge, are qualifying on the front 2 rows. Then I've got a couple of the dealer guys in front of me, and generally I'm sort of 5th or 6th in that sort of area. Now the problem is, once the race starts, Nabil just gets away in front. Him and Devon run a very good pace and they tend to gap the guys behind him. And I'm left battling with the sort of top end of the dealer team. And I've been able to get through a few of them during the races, but that means you occupy 3-4 laps before you manage to get through and break away and start deploying your ultimate pace. So I really have to improve my qualifying. It's something that I really have to focus on. Now, in another lifetime, when I raced cars, you always expected to deploy your quickest lap of the weekend during qualifying. For good reason. You had brand new tires. You ran the car incredibly light. I would generally have new brakes in the car. Everything was optimized to deliver that ultimate lap time during qualifying. But in the GR Cup, the car that you qualify with is essentially the car that you finished your 3rd session with. you don't have new tires, you're using the same brakes. We run a fairly consistent or standard fuel level in the car. So technically, there's no reason why it should be any quicker. Now, in fact, we have gone a little quicker in qualifying, but really I think that's more to do with the fact that we're qualifying reasonably early in the morning when the track is still cool, and that's giving us the extra pace. But the truth be told, I've just qualified poorly. I haven't deployed my best laps. I haven't found the space on track to enable me to drive the lap that I want to drive. And as a consequence, I'm qualifying behind a couple of cars where if I could just qualify in front of them, I think I could have a quicker, closer race with the leaders. And I think those final few tenths that I need will be found behind the leaders. If you want to go quicker, drive behind somebody who's quicker than you, and you might find a few secrets and be able to groove a lap. So that's something I'm going to focus on. I want to make space on the track, give myself every opportunity of deploying quick laps during qualifying. But in order to do that, I want to find the pace earlier in the weekend, session 1 or 2, so that I kind of have a reference and I know what sort of a lap time I need to deliver to get that more important and very valuable good qualifying up with the lead bunch. Let's look forward to Zwartkops. It's a track I know well. It's a track, I have to be completely honest here, has never been particularly kind to me. It's stop-start. It's got a flow, but I haven't been able to find that flow yet. I've never had bad results there. They just haven't been particularly good. So it's a track that takes a bit of work from me. And again, we can't test. So there's no way of improving and working on things physically in the race car before the race weekend starts. So what do? Well, back to the books. So let's first have a look at the track. I'll try and explain the layout and how best to drive it, in my opinion, and maybe some of the little things that I'm going to work on. So this is Zwartkops. It's a short track, about 2.4 kilometers long. There are only 8 corners on the track, but it is a little bit technical. The corners are varied. You've got slow and fast, a bit of stop-start, but others that you have to carry pace on. Also importantly, it's got a lot of gradient, so uphill and down dale. And there are a couple of corners that are really important to unlocking a good lap time, and they would be the last corner onto the start-finish. Important to open the lap well. Turn 2 is critical. You have to exit that with as much speed as possible because you'll carry that all the way down to turn 4. Turn 3 is really, it feels like a corner when you're going through it, but it is foot flat all the way. Turn 4 is crucial because the exit is into a rather steep uphill and you're going to carry all of that exit speed all the way up to turn 5. There is also a very big curb on the inside, and if you clip that, it'll launch the car to the left. You will run out of track and lose speed. You'll get a better sense of the lap if we do it from an in-car perspective. So here's a little bit of footage from testing pre-season. Just bear in mind that in testing the car wasn't in its final format. It sits a bit lower now on slightly stiffer springs with uprated brakes with a bit more stopping power. So I do expect our lap times will be a little quicker than we achieved in testing. We need to open the lap well. The final corner is tricky, so we're going to downshift and brake early, get as close to the apex and the wall as we can. Use all the track on the exit, but not too much. Turn 1 is fearsome. Really, it's more about just breathing off the throttle and a little hint of brakes maybe, getting close to that inside line, using all the track on exit. But you've got to come all the way back to the left, brake late and very hard. You almost drive past the corner here. Come back tight on the late apex so that you're opening the wheel on the exit, accelerating all the way. This is turn 3, and all we want to do here is turn the wheel as little as possible. We don't want to scrub any speed, and we've got to spot our brake marker. Late, downshift 1 gear and then get close to that. Don't use all the track on the exit. You can use a little of the rumble strip, but not the dirt. You're up onto the platform now. You can brake very late here. We're going to bang it back into second. Get tight on the apex, take a little curb. Don't use too much exit. Here again, we're almost wanting to drive a little bit past the corner, come back on a late apex. I'm going to cut back in, hit that ditch off line there. Final corner, brake early, bang it down one gear, get tight to the line again, and accelerate hard. You can see it's very busy. It all happens very quickly, but that was my best lap of testing. So once we've understood the track, is there anything else that I could do to improve myself before this next race weekend? What about a little bit of sim racing? Now, I've never driven a sim before, but I've done a little research on sims, and my mind has been incredibly broadened. There is an entire sport, there's an entire ambition to compete in sim racing. I'm not really interested in competing in sim racing, but if I could use the tool to improve my driving on track, then I'm going to do that. And fortunately, I found a good mate who happened to have a sim, and we could get Zwartkops onto the machine and I could drive a few laps. Admittedly, not in the same car that I'm racing, or at least a digital version of the same car I'm racing, but close enough from a horsepower perspective, and it was also four-wheel drive. Have a look at this. I found it pretty interesting. That's all right.
I can move it a bit closer.
Okay.
Eh?
No, it's pretty good actually. Mind you, it's probably far away on that screen, huh?
Yeah, let me bring it.
So frustrated because I'm so close to the 13s. This one's going to be a 13. Not anymore.
I want to just change something.
14.1. So the sim was really instructional. I have to admit that early on I was all at sea, getting used to the feedback and the feel of the car. I did find that the track render was incredibly accurate. For those of you wondering what the setup was, this is a Moza R9 wheel, I believe, and Moza SR2 pedals. It's a force feedback wheel, direct drive, 9 Newton meters, and I must say it gives a very faithful render of what the real thing feels like, and it's probably the equipment I would invest in if I'm to set up that little sim, which now seems inevitable. This all probably looks a little surreal to you because you're not hearing the sound of the car. I'm wearing headphones and I'm getting the engine note and the gear shifts. So it's quite immersive for me. It's a little odd when you're watching it without the engine noise. Another thing I really appreciated was having somebody there watching the laps with me and being able to give me advice and commentary on how I was driving the lap. I found the advice and input really beneficial, and they will often spot things that you don't see.
You're quicker there. You know there's a delta here, eh?
Yeah.
On this delta it shows you if you go quicker on that. But you hit down to 113, you went like 0.3 quicker that lap.
Yeah. There's something at the top there that, what is it, turn 1, 2, 3, 4, into turn 4.
Yeah, you're losing time on the one spot there, so you lost a bit of
Yeah.
time and then you made it up when you came down the bottom to the bottom corner.
The corner I really want to work on is the last corner, and
That corner's horrible.
Yeah, I figured
I can't trail braking it.
you've actually got to aim at the wall. You've got to turn it in because it's downhill and off camber, and it'll carry you away. But you tend to turn late, and then you're too deep into the corner. But this, I mean, that's amazing. My quickest lap time in testing was 13.8. So like the approximation is almost exactly the same. Alrighty, I'm going to give it like literally 3-4 more laps. I just want to see if I can replicate that 13. This corner, I'm going to try a much tighter line the next time.
Too late on the brakes. I mean, too long on the brakes. I should have pitched it in earlier. Let's try an earlier turning. Still too late. Time will be alright though, I think.
Oh, 13.8.
So right about now, I need to warn you on the dangers of sims. Sooner or later, you get bored with driving what you've got, and you start looking for exotic machinery. Fancy a Formula One Ferrari circa 2012 around Killarney? It was a lot of fun and highly addictive.
Okay, we're gonna break him possibly late. It's still too early. Oh, front end is so good. Faster you go, more grip.
So that's a 103 lap time around Killarney, and trust me, with more than 3 laps behind the wheel of this thing, I could go a lot faster.
Get back on the power so early. Maybe too early. Damn it. That's amazing. Jeez. Must be nice to drive one of those for real. But
Just imagine it.
So that was certainly fun. And I do think it has some value and you can learn things. I'm not sure you get the same feel. I'm not sure you get the little nuances, but it certainly helps groove a track in your mind, and you can start planning those things where you don't need to think about them. Your brain will just automatically do them, and you can dedicate your brain to the strategy of going quickly and to being alert to opportunities. So I do think it gives you a little advantage beforehand. The really bad news is it was a lot of fun. I kind of enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to be spending some money soon. But hey, one day I might be so old and broken that I can't drive a real race car. And it might be fun to have a little sim to take out my racing frustrations on. So, let's sum up ahead of Zwartkops. What are we going to do? We're going to find the pace earlier. I'm going to push harder from the first session. As soon as I have those tyres scrubbed and the brakes bedded in, I'm going to push hard to try and hit the ceiling, to try and find that quick lap time I can use as a reference point and build from there. I figure if I build from a quicker pace, I will ultimately end up with an even quicker pace. So that's number one. Number two, I'm really going to prioritize qualifying. And I think qualifying is not so much to do with your skill and ability. It's about being in the right frame of mind and putting yourself in the right time and space on the racetrack to be able to deploy those quick laps. So I'm going to concentrate very hard on that, finding myself the real estate I need to go quickly without being interfered with by other cars. And I'm just going to think speed. I'm going to try and carry as much speed as I can through those laps to try and qualify a little better and perhaps a little bit higher up the grid. For the races themselves, I think it'll be slightly longer at Zwartkops. We'll do more laps, not longer necessarily in time, but in terms of laps. So there might be a bit more opportunity during the race. I want to get settled down as quickly as possible. I'm finding it's taking me 2 or 3 laps to find my rhythm in the races. I want to do the first lap, deal with what I need to deal with people around me, and then simply get focused on delivering quick, smooth laps that are kind to the car, that do not use up all of my resources too early in the race. I found that at Red Star, I was way quicker to the end of the heat because I'd been kind to the car early in the heat and not asking too much of it. And I'm going to try and deploy that. Of course, we can have all the plans in the world. Racing's a dynamic situation. Other people do things around you and you have to often react to that. So you can't always plan everything in advance, but I think it's good to go with a plan. I think we do have a little plan, and I'm really going to look forward to see if I can execute on that properly. Folks, if you're in Joburg or Pretoria, why not come out to the racetrack, Zwartkops Raceway. It is just a little bit out of Pretoria. It's a beautiful facility. I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful sunny winter's day. Nice day out in the sunshine with your family. And if you're there, pop in, say hi. Love to see you. And I'll give you a full report back after the weekend. See you on the track.